My sister stood over my baby shower cake with a knife and screamed, "You ruined everything."
What she did next made me fear for my unborn daughters. My name is Sophia.
I'm 32. Last week, a detective and I stood inside a dusty storage unit on the edge of town, staring at the far wall. The air smelled like fresh paint. There was a double crib, a glider, and a dresser full of baby clothes with tags still attached. A small lamp night light cast a soft glow. But what stopped my heart were the names.
My daughters' names. Names I had never told anyone outside my marriage.
They were painted on the wall in swirling letters. Underneath sat a stack of mail, letters addressed to me, stolen from my mailbox.
A detective asked if I recognized the handwriting. I did. My legs gave out. The worst part,
the woman who built this nursery had been plotting to replace me for 9 months. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to a baby shower in February. The day my sister picked up a knife. Welcome to Zarabell Stories, where quiet voices finally break their silence. If you've ever been told to keep the peace while someone else stole the spotlight, this one is for you. Before this, I was a pediatric nurse in the Midwest, working long night shifts. I love the quiet hum of the machines, the way a scared child calms down when you kneel to their level. Nurses learn one rule early: document everything. If you don't write it down, it never happened. That rule saved me. My husband Mark runs an HVAC business. He's the kind of guy who'll fix your furnace for free while he's over for dinner. We met when he repaired the unit on my floor. He asked me out in the parking garage, sweaty and holding a clipboard like a shield. We bought a modest house on a quiet street. Nothing fancy. We painted it ourselves. Mark built a porch swing from a kit with the wrong screws. He still won't let me forget it. I earned my life one shift at a time. Scholarships, loans, a beat-up car with a taped mirror until I was 28.
No one handed me anything. That matters.
For 32 years, my family told a different story. That things came easy to Sophia. That she was the strong one. It sounded like a compliment, but it was really a job description. In my family, there was only ever one patient, and it was never me.
Her name was Rachel. 3 years older. By the time I was 10, I knew the rules.
Whatever day it was Rachel's day. My 10th birthday was cancelled an hour before guests arrived because Rachel had a stomach attack.
Mom rushed her to the ER. Doctors found nothing.
By dinner, Rachel was eating my cake in front of the TV. My mother smoothed my hair and said, "She needs us more, sweetheart."
I used to think that was love. I was wrong.
It happened at my choir concert, my graduation, my wedding rehearsal. A fainting spell, a migraine, a crisis timed like clockwork.
Rachel was never scolded.
She was fragile. She was going through something.
My mother Linda ran our family like a stage manager with 1 star.
Rachel hated physical contact. No hugs, no linked arms. A family joke, you approach Rachel like a cat. At her own wedding, she and her husband did a stiff, awkward sway. No one thought twice about not touching her belly in months. You admired Rachel from a distance.
That's how my mother raised her.
I'm not telling you this to make you hate a girl with a tummy ache. I'm telling you because 30 years of that raises a question: what happens to the star when someone else has news?
We found out 6 years ago when my father died of a heart attack in the driveway. He was 58. A quiet man who fixed things and asked for nothing.
At the funeral, Rachel wailed so dramatically she had to be escorted out.
My mother went with her. They didn't come back. I stayed. I shook every hand in the receiving line alone.
I was 26. Rachel vanished for 3 months. Grieving in her own way, my mother said. Meanwhile, I handled Dad's affairs. I filed insurance, sold his truck, and sat with my mother every Sunday while she cried. One Sunday, she took my hand and said, "You're the rock, Sophia.
I don't know what I'd do without you." I carried that sentence like a medal before I realized it was a chain. The rock doesn't get to be fragile. The rock handles the paperwork. I liked being needed. Managing my mother became my second job. That's my flaw.
It wasn't that I trusted Rachel. I never did.
It was that I believed my mother was my responsibility. I never asked what my mother was doing with all that access.
I should have. One August evening, I handed her a secret I couldn't afford to lose.
Mark and I had been trying for a baby. Nothing happened.
2 rounds of IUI, expensive and heartbreaking, both failed. I'm a nurse. I knew the statistics. Knowing the statistics doesn't help you at 2 a.m.
We kept it private. Except once. I broke down in my mother's kitchen.
I told her about the tests, the money, the fear.
She swore it would stay between us. I told exactly one person. Remember that. Infertility isn't a flaw. It's a grief that lives on your calendar.
You learn to smile at other people's announcements while your back teeth are clenched.
You get good at it. You hate that you're good at it.
So when September came and my mother texted the family chat, all caps, heart emojis, announcing dinner because Rachel has news, I put the phone face down.
I knew what it was. It was always going to be her news first. Rachel announced her pregnancy that Sunday.
She stood at the head of the table and unveiled a framed sonogram like a winning lottery ticket.
12 weeks. Due at the end of March.
I was happy for her, genuinely. I watched her glow and thought, maybe this softens her. My mother cried and started a group chat called Baby Watch. For 2 months, that was all my family talked about. Rachel quit her job. My mother drove her to every appointment. Cravings got photographed. Twinges got paragraphs. I liked all the posts from the break room at midnight and never complained. The only person who wasn't glowing was her husband, Jake.
A big, gentle guy who sells insurance.
That fall, his smile disappeared. He'd sit at dinner with dark circles under his eyes, cutting his food into tiny pieces. When I asked if he was sleeping, he said, "Work is crazy." Insurance is never crazy in October. I noticed but didn't push.
I had my own life running in the background. But keep your eye on Jake. He was the only one who wasn't acting.
In late October, Baby Watch went quiet. Daily photos stopped. My mother posted, "Rachel is resting. Please respect her privacy."
She skipped Thanksgiving.
Mom delivered dinner to her door. Rachel stopped letting anyone near her. She came to one lunch in December wrapped in a huge cardigan, sat at the far end, and left before dessert.
I didn't connect it then.
I had a policy of not looking too closely at my sister.
Besides, my world was tilting. A gray Tuesday in December. I took a test from under the sink. 2 lines. 2 years of trying. And there they were. I walked into the kitchen holding it like a baby bird. Mark took one look and collapsed on the floor next to the dishwasher, laughing and crying. We stayed there for an hour. We decided to tell no one. We had lost pregnancies before. We stuck to it. The ultrasound in January was the best moment of my life. The tech turned the screen. 2 flickers. 2 heartbeats. Twins. Girls. Mark made a sound I'd never heard before. I floated for a week, then made a call I regret. I told my mother. I told her the names, Lily and Rose. I said, "This stays with you." Not a word. Not until after Rachel's shower. My mother paused for 3 seconds. A pause that meant everything. Her congratulations came a half-beat too late. I hung up feeling lighter. I had done the responsible thing. The strong one thing. The shower was in February. 30 guests, pink balloons, a beautiful cake. Rachel sat in a white armchair, opening gifts in her cream sweater. I stayed to the side, keeping my secret hidden. It was her day. Then came the toast. My mother stood up, got through a lovely speech, then her eyes swept past Rachel and landed on me. "Soon we'll have even more blessings. Sophia is carrying twins." The room went silent. 30 faces turned to me. Rachel rose and walked to the cake table. She picked up the knife and pointed it at my stomach. "This is my day." The scream wasn't the scary part. It was what she said next. "You stole my life and my babies." Babies. Plural. No one knew there were 2. My aunt pulled Rachel back. The knife clattered onto the cake. I walked out. In the car, Mark asked, "Did you hear her say babies?" Neither of us spoke the whole way home. You'd think pointing a knife at your pregnant sister would get you in trouble. You don't know my family. My phone rang at 7 a.m. It was my mother. "Your sister is fragile," she said. The announcement was poorly timed. I reminded her it was her announcement. She ignored me. Rachel feels blindsided. Don't make this bigger than it is. A knife aimed at my unborn daughters. Something in me went still. I said. She pointed a knife at my stomach. My mother replied, "It was her day." There it was. The rule of the house. I sat at the kitchen table and did what I was trained to do. I took out a notebook and started charting. Date. Incident. Witnesses. If it isn't written down, it didn't happen. The evidence piled up. She knew details she shouldn't have. Only 2 people were in that kitchen in August. I wrote the most generous theory. Mom let it slip. The Facebook post came 11 days later. A photo of Rachel looking tearful. She wrote that her shower was destroyed by a jealous family member. 200 comments bloomed. Relatives unfriended me. I typed a reply. Then I stopped.
If I post this, I'm playing her game.
The only way to win is to stop playing.
I deleted it.
I screenshot everything. I built a record.
March arrived. White lilies appeared on my doorstep, the funeral kind, with a card saying in loving memory.
Diapers I never ordered started showing up. Then calls at the hospital. A woman asking when I worked. I logged every incident. A pattern emerged.
The lilies arrived the day of my 16-week scan. The diapers hit the day of my blood work. The calls came the afternoon the clinic rescheduled an appointment. Every strike landed on a day that mattered.
It was like she had my calendar. Mark wanted to confront her. I held him back.
I started asking, how does she know?
I got my answer on a Friday in March. In the waiting room of the OB clinic. There she was.
Rachel, sitting across from me in her cream sweater, watching me with a patient smile.
Small world, she said.
My appointment existed in 3 places: my phone, Mark's phone, and my chart.
I walked to the front desk.
Has anyone called about my appointments?
Can you add a privacy flag?
Can you check who accessed my portal?
No one but me had logged in. I changed every password. I felt secure.
When they found the leak months later, it was a door I left open 6 years ago. Rachel didn't have an appointment.
She just knew where I'd be.
Rachel's due date came and went. Then my mother summoned a healing dinner. She announced, through tears, that Rachel had lost the baby.
Stillbirth at 36 weeks. The table went silent.
I grieved for her.
Honestly. But details didn't line up.
No hospital named. No funeral.
No date. Jake didn't answer my texts.
In my notebook, I wrote, no hospital, no name, no Jake.
Grief rearranged the family. My mother said, your baby's all she has left now.
Let her be part of this. Within a week, Rachel wants to come to the anatomy scan. Rachel should be in the delivery room. Rachel has ideas on names.
Compromise on my daughter's names. Mark snapped and walked out.
I looked at my mother and said, no. To all of it, no.
She stepped back. I had never said that word to her before. In June, my mother asked me to sort my father's old things.
The boxes were in the guest room closet. A tin of old cards fell over.
I saw a folded piece of paper. It was my anatomy scan. My baby's.
Down the margin, next to each tiny profile, someone had written my daughter's names, Lily and Rose.
In my sister's handwriting. Each name underlined twice. I had told those names to one person.
The leak was deliberate.
My mother's house was the channel.
Monday morning, I took everything to a lawyer named June. She said, stop trying to figure out why. Crazy is not your case.
Pattern is your case. Document everything. Say nothing. Let her keep talking.
If your mother is the channel is an asset. A channel can be tested.
We tested it.
At Sunday dinner, I served my mother a lie. I told her my doctors wanted me to deliver at a different hospital. Every word was false. My mother received the secret with a squeeze.
A canary in a coal mine.
2 weeks later, my neighbor flagged me down.
A car parked at 2 a.m. near my house.
A woman standing by the nursery window, taking pictures.
I installed cameras. We got footage of a figure working the gate latch.
My mother kept our spare key and code on a hook in her pantry.
I filed for an order of protection. Granted. The final hearing was scheduled for November.
My mother was furious. A restraining order against your sister.
I let her monologue.
She didn't know I had the ER discharge summary in my lawyer's safe. Rachel's baby had died in October at 17 weeks. While she wore a padded sweater to a baby shower in February. My mother had been managing a delusion. 11 days later, a white box appeared on my doorstep.
Inside were 2 newborn onuses. Soft yellow.
Embroidered in pink thread, Lily and Rose.
Hours of work.
This was a violation of the order.
I filed a police report.
My lawyer subpoenaed hospital audit logs. They found a proxy authorization I signed 6 years ago.
For my mother. After my appendectomy. It was dormant in my settings but alive in theirs. 31 logins in 8 months. A login the morning of the lilies. A login the day before the waiting room ambush. A login the evening before the hospital calls.
My mother had been running surveillance and delivering intel to Rachel.
The canary sang.
My cousin posted about hospital bills. Rachel commented, mocking people who have to deliver at St. Vincent's.
St. Vincent's. The false detail I spoke to one person. The pipeline was complete. Lily and Rose were born in July. They came out perfect. I spent one whole day forgetting about my family. The day after they were born, A call came to the maternity desk. A woman asking to confirm the room number. The secretary logged it. An hour later, security escorted a woman out of the parking garage. It was 94 degrees. She wore an oversized cardigan. In October, a social worker showed up at my door. Someone had called the state hotline. The report alleged I was leaving my newborn twins unattended. Anonymous. I walked her through my house with a folder. The case was closed in 90 minutes. Most anonymous reports don't come with a floor plan, she noted. 6 days before the hearing, a detective called. It's about a storage unit on Route 9. Mark and I went the next morning. He opened the door. The crib. The clothes. The names on the wall. My stolen mail. A draft of the hotline report. Photographs of my house. The manager said the unit was rented by my mother in March. $89 a month. 9 payments. November 14th. The courthouse was cold. My mother took my hand.
It's not too late to stop this.
5 days after I saw her name on the lease. She believed it. I took my hand back and said nothing.
Rachel arrived. Under her coat, unmistakable, was the rounded front of a woman in her second trimester. The cream sweater.
The hallway went silent.
In the courtroom, my lawyer laid it out.
The notebooks.
The photographs.
The audit log. The knife. I testified.
I'm not here to punish my sister. I'm here because my daughters can't testify for themselves.
Jake took the stand. He confessed to the ER visit in October. The 17-week loss. The plan in the parking lot. The padding in the sweater. His begging for help.
My mother's answer. Therapy is for strangers. Family heals family. He said, I was outvoted.
The detective showed the storage unit.
I watched Rachel.
Her lips were moving.
17 weeks, 4 days. 17 weeks, 4 days. Rachel took the stand. She was composed for 90 seconds. Then she looked at the screen and came unhinged.
They were supposed to be mine, she screamed. She takes everything.
The bailiff moved. The judge slammed the gavel.
Rachel pointed at me. This was my day.
The judge granted a permanent order of protection.
Then she turned to my mother. This record has your name all through it. A proxy account. A lease.
This family arrived here by way of your help. In the hallway, relatives stepped back from my mother like she was a hot stove.
She stood alone.
I was keeping this family together.
No one answered. On the courthouse steps, I looked back. I had been believed for the first time in 32 years.
6 weeks later, we chose to move.
We didn't run.
There's a difference.
My daughters sleep down the hall in a new nursery.
No clouds on the walls.
No names. Rachel signed a plea agreement. Inpatient psychiatric treatment.
The evaluation named it delusional disorder woven through complicated grief.
5 losses deep. Untreated by design.
Jake filed for divorce. He sent a card. Tell the girls someday that their Uncle Jake tried.
I will. He earned it. My mother still writes. I don't read them.
They go in a box.
Some doors you don't slam. You just stop standing in front of them. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's a waiting room. You sit in it forever until someone sicker than you needs your chair. That's my story.
1 cake knife.
31 logins.
2 names painted on a wall that never should have known them. If this reminded you to check who has access to your peace, do it today. Share this with someone who keeps the family peace at their own expense. Like this video for Zarabell stories. Have you ever had to draw a line with a family member? Let me know in the comments.